speak about, so.
I just did.
A little bit, now I do.
I'm back.
Okay, so, again, I'm Terri Meinel. I am the director of the bookstore. We are collegiate, in the collegiate retail industry, which is a little bit different than, you know, your regular retail, and I'll kind of touch on that. I have my bachelor's from Whitewater as well as my master's. Bachelor's in English and journalism, and master's is in counseling. So I don't have any educational experience in the field that I'm actually in, which is not atypical of people who kind of fall into being university bookstore directors. It's kind of a career you fall into and stay, because it really is a pretty neat industry. So our sales are just above $2 million. As you know, we have a rental program, so if we were on a strictly purchase system like Oshkosh and Milwaukee and Madison, we'd be more like $6 million in sales annually. But you guys save quite a bit of money by having that rental program. So what I do is I do all the financials and running the store on a daily basis, not so much. I have staff who do that. I oversee, you know, everybody's success and everybody's failure. That's kind of what goes with the territory. So I'm also buyer for clothing and imprinted gifts and supplies, such as notebooks, spirals, binders, things like that. So far, any questions? Okay. There is no daily routine, but there is a cyclical routine to our industry. I do most of our buying in February, March, April for fall. So we're pretty heavy as far as the ordering at specific times of the year. And then the merchandise comes in about June and July, so we catch the PIP days when parents come in, they love to buy. And our big, our sales months are, of course, August, September, December for holiday, January for second semester. The rest of the months, fall is real busy. We do some reorders. As you know, activity-wise, we're pretty heavy in the fall with football and, you know, homecoming, family weekend, things like that. In the spring, it's a little bit lighter, but that's when I get busier with the purchasing of merchandise. So that's kind of my life, my, you know, cyclical up and down. We have, our rushes are very intense, as you know, because you all come at the same time and do your purchases and get your books. And then our quieter times are like February, March, and then we rev up for graduation, for a little bit of summer school, not so much. We do an annual inventory. We close the store for one day, and everybody does inventory. We have scanners. We have to reconcile what our books say and what our actual numbers say. So we get close. We get kind of pretty close because there's book errors. There's, you know, things of that nature. So we try to reconcile them. Unlike real retail, we don't have to pay taxes on our inventory. Most retail operations, at the end of their fiscal year, they have to pay taxes on the inventory that they have on hand. We don't, so that's a benefit to us and to you, because then we can keep the prices as low as we can. We also are licensed by LRG. They just changed their name, but it's Licensing Resource Group. And what that means is we all pay 10% more for everything that has UW-Whitewater or any of our trademark items. So if you think our prices are a little high, that's part of the reason. We do try to get in a wide range of, the lower price points, such as t-shirts for $9.98. Then we have Under Armour, which of course is your highest end. Nike Performance right now is the big thing. Cotton is out. Crews are back. Hoods are 50-50. Full zips are coming back. So, there's that pendulum that swings back and forth as far as styles and preferences. So, any questions so far? So, the vendors that I deal with primarily in clothing are Champion, Gear and Under Armour, Nike, JanSport, and a couple others. And the reason I deal with only a select few is because it's easier to manage, plus I can have those price points, the low, the medium, and the upper price point. So our cost of goods is probably about 55–60% of our sales, so that's an expense to us. We pay all of our utilities, salaries, fringe benefits, building upkeep, everything. We get no money from anywhere else. So everything that we have to pay for comes right out of our pocket. And on a campus like this, it's called PR, which is program revenue. We don't get any monies from the state, from set fees, or anything like that. So whatever money we make, we have to cover our expenses. And then if we have anything left over, we do improvements. Like last year, we bought that outdoor electronic sign. We also recently were able to afford a graphic design person, so we added a position which has really helped, with social media being, the way to reach our audience. That has really helped quite a bit. So that's where our money comes from, and that's where our money goes. Any questions?
So, does any of the stuff that we buy that says like the football championship t-shirts, does any of that go to athletics, or is it just for you?
We do not share revenues. We do share what we sell at the stadium in the shed. That's not very much. We only do that on game days. No, we don't, but the money goes back to the university in the royalties that we collect. And so it goes to the chancellor, but I know athletics gets a pretty good chunk of that money. I don't know specifically how much, but it goes back in that way. Plus we do donations, whenever somebody comes looking for a donation, we usually do that. We have thought about doing student scholarships, but quite honestly, we haven't had, the money to do it. Recently, now things are getting a little better. During the recession, we got hit pretty hard financially. There were about 3 years between, let's say, 09 and 11 or 12 and we couldn't even make ends meet. So we didn't make a profit those years, but we had a reserve, so we weren't earning that way. We just had to dip into our reserves. So, and they have their own website, and they do quite a bit of sales as well to to gain revenues. You had a question?
Oh yeah. So has there been any big changes the bookstore's undergone, from when you kind of started out until where it's at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. when I started, it was quite a long time ago, the building was a dining hall, so it had the dining area on one side, the middle was all the kitchen stuff and the preparation, and on the other side, there was another dining room. And so over the years, we, as we got the money, we kind of knocked this wall out, knocked that wall out, and combined the two areas, because it used to be you had to go into each different one. One was books and one was the rest, and check out on each one, because we, didn't have any kind of a consistent setup. So then, as soon as we could, we combined the two, so at least you could go in one side and check out and leave with all your purchases. And then we did some more makeshift improvements as we could, and then in 2009, I really am old. In 2009, we finally did a complete remodel. So we gutted the whole upstairs. We moved out to 3 different locations with all of our, stuff, our merchandise, our books, our everything. And gutted the whole thing and remodeled. So that was a $2.44 million renovation. I think it turned out really nice. We're still paying off the debt service, which is $200,000, just under $200,000 a year, which we split with rental. So we have to make a lot of money to pay off that, $95,000 debt service and, pay all our bills as well. But that should last us for a while. But, already after 5 years, we're seeing things we have to improve upon. Carpeting's gonna wear out. Some of the fixtures are starting to look worn, and so there's always that, maintenance, like at home. But yeah, it's been about 5 years since the current stores that it's been.
When you were talking about the trends changing, like bringing in things for next, so how do you determine what to buy? When you every time you update your inventory, you just do it based off what you see people wearing on campus, or how do you decide?
That's an awesome question. The vendors that I work with are specifically, well, they have regular retail accounts as well, but for their retail accounts, they have, they're big. Champion is huge, Jansport is huge, and what they do is they go to the Hollisters, the Abercrombie, whoever is currently, the favorite of, the group that we're buying for, and they look at the trends. They go to New York, they go to LA, and so they really do a good market analysis of what is trendy in retail, and then we convert that to the collegiate market, the look, the feel. They're always coming out with new garment feels, new finishes, so now it's performance, because everybody's buying performance, everybody's wearing it. Cotton, you can't give it away. Leggings, we used to sell a ton of sweatpants as recently as 2 years ago. Now, I have one style, I think, and that's for maybe your moms and dads when they stop in. So, my vendors do the market analysis and come in with what they feel is going to do well in the market, and then my role is to decide for my market what is going to sell, the colors, the designs. The art sells quite a bit, much more so than you know, the style of the garment. So, that's where my role comes in, and I hit pretty much. Sometimes I miss and they go on the sale rack, but, you know, when you're buying for someone else, it's not as easy as buying for yourself, or even your own age group. So I rely on my vendors quite a bit. There's a trust factor that we establish because their success is based on my success. So they don't want to sell me something that, you know, isn't going to make me any money because I'm not going to buy from them or scale back what I carry from that vendor. Yes?
How much do they like make off what we sell? Like Nike, how much do they make off? Or do you like pay them to come here?
I don't know that. And with companies like Nike and Under Armour, they don't sell directly to the collegiate market. So we have kind of a middleman where it's their reps that come and call on us. So we buy from them and they buy the raw, the undecorated stuff from Nike. So it's even more, it's expensive anyway. But it's more expensive maybe in our market because of the royalties and the fact that we can't work with them directly. And I don't think there's any, there used to be like Notre Dame, maybe Ohio State, that Nike actually worked directly with them. They didn't have a company that they worked with. But they don't do that anymore. They do strictly with our vendor is branded Custom ECS, Sportswear, I think. And so, and even Madison now is going to be an Under Armour school. They'll have to, the bookstore will buy from BCS, and the athletic department will get their stuff correctly from Under Armour. So there's the collegiate market, there's regular retail, and then there's the athletic, you know, the coaches and the players and stuff like that, so. But yeah, Nike would never touch us. Anything else?
You guys at the bookstore have to say when it comes to like redesigning the Warhol logo?
Oh dear, no. Actually, that's one of my more difficult aspects of the job because our campus established identity standards, they call them. So the mascot, the UW-Whitewater, UW-W, Warhawks, anything that's trademarked has to go through them, and they either approve it or not. Sometimes we have a conflict. Like I just wanted to do a one-screen purple, green, and red mug with the ugly sweater design. We just got our sweatshirts in. And so they wouldn't let me do it because the one color made it like on the red mug and the green mug, it made it look like the Warhawk actually has those colors in it, which it doesn't. And so to that, you know, we just don't always agree on, you know, the use of the marks and everything. But I can't appeal. They say no, I just can't do it, or I have to revise it, or whatever. And that kind of can be problematic because if the price goes up with every color that you add to the design. So full four color design might cost me $2 per piece more than a one color. So we try to do, you know, keep the price point affordable. I've had to scrap some of my designs because they just more to prove, so, but yeah, that's my challenge. And I'm their challenge, I'm sure, because I want to use it in ways that they don't allow. Other questions? I'm a quiet group, Joe.
What made you guys wanna add the Greek apparel, and is it beneficial?
We do have a printing press. We do have a vendor that we buy the product from. We have order forms. So, you know, whenever we have people come in and placing orders, we're ready to go. One of our student managers who was instrumental in getting that part of it going for us is studying abroad this semester, so I think that advertising, that you know, soliciting the business isn't quite what, you know, what we had hoped for, but yeah. Yes?
So you said you're a English and journalism major, so what made you not really do that?
I did work in a small publishing house for about a year and a half, and I decided to settle in Whitewater, and there just aren't opportunities, you know, for journalism in particular. English, very limited in, you know, in careers. So when I got the job at the bookstore, I really enjoyed it, and the business part of it is, you know, you learn as you go along. And then I got my master's back in 1990, I think, and there was the higher education emphasis, major or emphasis was in the counseling department, so that's why I have a degree in counseling. But it kind of helps, really, because, you know, you get a better idea of maybe what people are thinking, what they're buying, kind of that psychology part of it, so.
Did you start out as a director, or did you have to like work your way after that?
I worked my way up. I've been director since 2000, and since '84, I was the assistant director. So I've been there for, well, most of my adult life. Anyone else?
I stepped out from home, so if you covered this, I apologize, but can you talk to them? I was trying to explain a little bit about when other people want to create product off campus, people kind of, any examples or stories, good or bad, that you can share?
Because we belong to LRG, and our logos are all copyrighted, anyone who sells UW Whitewater images has to have them approved. They have to, first of all, it's quite the business. First, they have to apply with LRG, that costs them. And then all the images that they use, they have to submit to LRG, and then the licensing person on our campus either approves them or makes them change or disapproves them. Every so often, we'll find somebody online that's selling Whitewater merchandise that they have not gone through that process. So LRG writes a letter of cease and desist, and so they pull it offline, and then, but I don't know that they catch everything or everyone, but everybody is supposed to, you know, be licensed. Even our campus departments, if they want to buy like a, you know, table cloth with our logo on it, has to go through a licensed vendor. Walmart has to pay the royalties. Everybody does, for sure.
Do you know if Walmart's any of their exacts, like what they pay to use anything, or what percentage comes back? Do you happen to know any of that?
I'm assuming they're, well, I don't know, because they've got they've got power like nobody else does, you know, between them and Amazon, it's like, but I'm assuming it's 10%. For us, it's 10, it used to be 8, now they raised it, so, CLC Madison is with a different company, and they're like at 12%. So, and I'm not quite sure if it's the campus or if it's the licensing group that establishes that, that royalty rate. So, but, you know, they've got vendors that they can, squeeze comes to mind, but I'll try to be more diplomatic, that they can influence in a way that we can't. Like with championship gear, Walmart has it the morning after they won the game. We try really hard, but we can't. And with the championship being around Christmas, my vendors can't turn it around as quickly. I don't know how Walmart does it, unless they have it printed and delivered before the game is over. But if they do that and the team doesn't win, they have to destroy the merchandise. And we can't afford to do that. So we're usually a day behind Walmart, which it is what it is. But our quality is better. And with NCAA, not every vendor is, can print their stuff. Because once you're in the championship, that's NCAA and the rules are totally different.
Last thing on that subject, is there an upfront fee just to get the original license or ability to use the logo? And do you
There
know-
is for the vendors, yeah.
And do you know what that is? It universal for everybody?
I don't know. I don't know that, and LRG is not very, they don't share information with us, with me, they do with our licensing people here on campus. So I'm really not quite sure, who drives the pricing. I think LRG probably establishes the fee that you pay to be licensed for the different, schools and whatever. But I don't know if they have a tier system for vendors or if it's a flat fee. I can't imagine that the smaller vendors, could afford what the bigger vendors can. And I don't know if it's based on volume or what it is. But it's about, used to be $60, but I'm pretty sure they increased it. Maybe it's $80 for, a certain school like ours. Because they have to have a license for every school that is part of their group. So,
And that's annual, or that's just a one-time front?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I didn't know if that was something you had to deal with, or if you're...
I think it's a one-time. I want to say it's one time. If you keep doing business with the same company, and for that reason, it might be, kind of a graduated or whatever, depending on, the volume you do. But that I can't answer, so.
Last chance. Anyone, anything else? Thank you.